My name is David. I'm 26 years old. Last summer, I spent 3 months in Seattle, Washington. It wasn't a big move. I didn't sell all my things or buy a one-way ticket. It was just a chance, a short adventure, a different season of life. I normally live in Arizona. My hometown is dry, hot, and sunny almost all year. By June, the air feels like fire. The streets are quiet in the afternoon because nobody wants to walk outside. The heat makes you slow, tired, and thirsty. One evening in May, I sat in my small apartment in Phoenix with the fan blowing on me. I was scrolling through photos online when I saw a picture of Seattle: green trees, gray skies, and people wearing light jackets. A man was holding a coffee cup and walking near the water. I thought, that looks perfect. The next day, I called my cousin Mark. He lives in Seattle. He's older than me by a few years, and he works in tech. We don't talk often, but we're friendly. I asked, "Hey, do you think I could stay with you for the summer?" He laughed. "What happened? Too hot in Arizona." "Exactly," I said. He thought for a moment and said, "Well, I have a couch. If you don't mind, you're welcome." And that was it. The decision was made. Arrival. The flight was only 3 hours, but the change felt bigger than that. When I stepped out of the airport, the air felt soft, cool, almost wet. Clouds covered the sky, but it didn't feel sad. It felt calm. Mark picked me up in his old silver car. He rolled down the window and said, "Welcome to the Emerald City." His apartment was in Capitol Hill, a busy area full of coffee shops, small restaurants, and people walking fast. His place wasn't big: one bedroom, a small living room, and a tiny kitchen. My bed was the couch, but it felt fine. That first night, we ordered Thai food. I sat near the window with my plate and listened to the city sounds: buses, voices, laughter, a dog barking. In Phoenix, nights were quiet except for the hum of air conditioners. Here, the city felt alive. I thought, this summer is going to be different. A routine begins. The next morning, I woke up early. I couldn't sleep well on the couch, but I didn't mind. I made coffee, opened the window, and felt the cool air on my face. People outside were already walking with umbrellas, even though the rain was only a soft mist. For the first week, I didn't have much to do. I walked a lot. I went down Pine Street, past bookstores, markets, and murals. I visited Pike Place Market and watched fishmongers throw salmon in the air. I stood near the water and looked at the ferries moving slowly across the bay. Everywhere I saw coffee shops. Not just Starbucks, small ones with soft lights, wooden tables, and people typing on laptops. I made it a goal to try a new cafe every day. By the end of June, I had a small routine: morning walk in the cool air, coffee at a different cafe, a little reading or writing in my notebook, afternoon exploring, neighborhoods, parks, or just random streets, evening back at Mark's apartment, sometimes eating together, sometimes not. It was simple, but it felt refreshing. Meeting people. One Tuesday, I sat in a cafe near Volunteer Park. I was writing in my notebook when someone asked, "Excuse me, is this seat free?" I looked up. A young woman stood there, holding a coffee cup. She wore glasses and had a backpack full of books. "No, go ahead," I said. She sat down, opened a book, and started reading. After a while, she looked at my notebook and asked, "Are you a writer?" I laughed. "Not really. I just write small things. Notes. Thoughts." She smiled. "That's still writing." Her name was Claire. She was a graduate student studying literature. We talked for a while, mostly about books and cities. She told me she grew up in Oregon and came to Seattle for school. Over the next weeks, we met a few more times. Sometimes for coffee, sometimes at the park. It wasn't a romance, more like a soft friendship. Talking with her made me feel less like a tourist, more like part of the city. Small moments. The summer went on, and little moments started to fill my memory. Sitting on the grass at Gasworks Park, watching the skyline across the water, eating a hot dog with cream cheese, a Seattle dog, outside a music venue at midnight, riding the ferry to Bainbridge Island and feeling the wind on my face, standing in line at a used bookstore, holding 3 novels that smelled like old paper, watching street musicians play guitar while the rain began to fall softly. Each moment felt ordinary, but also special. Work and balance. Of course, I couldn't just spend the whole summer drinking coffee and walking around. I had freelance design work online. In the afternoons, I opened my laptop at Mark's apartment or in a cafe. Some days, it was hard to focus. The city outside felt too interesting. I wanted to explore, not sit at a screen. But slowly, I found balance. Mornings for the city, afternoons for work, evenings for myself. One evening, Mark and I went to a Mariners baseball game. I'm not a big sports fan, but the atmosphere was fun. People cheering, kids eating cotton candy, the smell of popcorn and hot dogs in the air. I didn't care about the score. I just enjoyed being part of the crowd. Reflections. By August, I felt different. Not completely changed, but softer, calmer. Seattle taught me to slow down, to enjoy a gray sky, not just a sunny one, to walk without a destination, to talk with strangers. One rainy afternoon, I sat by the window in a cafe, looking out at the wet street. Cars moved slowly. People walked with umbrellas. The world felt quiet. I wrote in my notebook. Sometimes the best adventures are not far away. Sometimes they're just a season, a pause, a different city. Not forever, just for now. The last day, September came. My return flight was booked. On my last morning, I walked to the water one more time. The sky was silver. A ferry moved across the bay. I held a cup of coffee in my hand and breathed in the cool air. I thought about Arizona waiting for me, the dry heat, the wide open skies, my small apartment. I knew life would go back to normal, but something inside me would stay different. When I got back to Mark's apartment, I packed my bag. He looked at me and said, "So, was it worth it?" I smiled. Every minute. Back home. Now I'm back in Arizona. The sun is strong, the air is dry, and the days are long. But sometimes, when I drink coffee in the morning, I close my eyes and remember Seattle. The rain, the green, the soft gray sky. It was just a summer, but it felt like a small lifetime. And maybe that's enough.